I am ready to bring you episode 1 and 2 of the Acolyte. Really excited about this. The show has been on Ryan Collins' hype meter since they announced it. This has always just been something really cool, and it always sounded cool. It always sounded like at the end of the Jedi reign, not really connected to the Skywalker saga because it happens still about 100, maybe 130 years before the events of Phantom Menace and stuff and everything like that. So I was really excited to see what cool things we would get in this time period that really hasn't been seen in live action at all. For the most part, the Disney, once they got Star Wars and everything, they started doing this High Republic wave release. It started out with a bunch of the novels and stuff, some by Charles Soule and things, and then it moved into the comics and stuff, and now the wave 3, I guess, of this, or this wave 4 or whatever, wherever we're at, is kind of bringing some of this stuff into live action. So it's really cool. Haven't read any of those High Republic books. Haven't read any of the High Republic comics, up to this point or anything like that. So I don't really know. I don't really have a background of this era or anything that's really going in, other than it's probably the height of the Jedi power, maybe even their hubris, because at some point the cracks have to start crumbling for them and stuff. I'm also very excited to see, if this will be a story told from the Sith perspective, or about the beginnings of the Sith, or gosh, even anyone kind of pseudo associated with the Sith, like Knights of Ren, or the witches of Dathomir, that we've seen them come back, specifically the witches of Dathomir come back in Ahsoka and stuff. Spoilers for Ahsoka. But so it'll be interesting to see if from the Sith perspective, if this is really truly Sith, or if this is some more startings of the offshoot of the Sith, because the Night Sisters of Dathomir show up at least in Clone Wars and stuff. So it wouldn't be outside of the realm to see them or something, or maybe other witches. I don't know. Maybe there could be more than one type of witch. We only saw the ones from Dathomir, and even then, those originally kind of show up in legends and everything. So I'm really excited about this. Don't really know much about the cast here, except for 2 people that I've seen previously, and that's Daphne Keane, who plays Jackie Long. But for me, most notably, she was X-23 Laura, Wolverine's daughter clone, and but she was also on his Dark Materials for a few seasons as well. So a lot of people might know her from that. Our lead in it, Osha, is played by Amandla Steinberg, and she played the young Zoe Zaldana in Columbiana, that action movie with Zoe, and she other people might also remember her as entering the Hunger Games arena with Katniss. She played Rue in Hunger Games. And I also, when checking her IMDb, and I was like, what else has she done? She also shows up in Across the Spider-Verse as the voice of Spider-Bite. So she's really been making a name for herself, and I'm really excited to see basically what else she does here with the Acolyte and the role of Osha and all that kind of stuff. And then we have Lee Jung-jae. Most notably, I know he's a huge actor, and has won awards, been nominated for awards and stuff out over in Japan and like Asia and all over there. But I found him through Squid Game, like most people probably did in America. He's the lead in Squid Game. So that was on Netflix, and that tore everybody up through Storm and whatnot. So definitely go check out Squid Game if you want to see anything that he's done. But he plays Jedi Master Soul in this, and I'm really excited for it. And then we got Charlie Barnett, who played a John Diggle Jr. in the Arrowverse on CW. So that's really great to see him. He plays the character of Yord. He was also in Russian Doll before joining the rank of Jedi Knight. And this series is created by Leslie Headland, and she's first time woman showrunner for Star Wars, which is great. She directed and wrote the first pilot episode, and I was really excited to see what all of this is about. So I've done enough preview kind of dive in. Let's just dive into the episode now. Our opening title card here was awesome. So I was wrong when I just spoke. I said about 130 years. I was wrong about that. The opening title card actually says it's 100 years before the Empire. This is a time of peace. Jedi and the Jedi and the Galactic Republic have prospered centuries without war. That never bodes too well when you've got that. In the more of this opening scroll, in the dark corners of the galaxy, a powerful few learn to use the Force in secret. One lone assassin risks discovery to seek revenge. Then we cut to Udea, maybe. A masked person arrives in a purple cloak. Instantly I thought of Mace Windu of this. Anytime I see purple in Star Wars, I'm like, Windu. I don't know if anybody else does, but I do. And they walk into they're walking around this cloaked purple person. They're walking around. They're looking for a Jedi. They're asking for a Jedi. They tip a person that's like, oh, Jedi's over there. They enter a cantina, and there we go. We see Master Indara, who is, of course, played by the wonderful Carrie-Anne Moss, aka Trinity. Carrie-Anne Moss has obviously done so much more, but I mean, Trinity, right? Always. And so this masked person, doesn't really unveil herself or anything. She asks Indara to attack her with all of her might and stuff, and Indara is just kind of laughing about this almost, and is like, I appreciate your courage, young warrior, but I got no quarrel with you. And still pushing the point, yes you do. And the masked the cloaked masked person attacks the entire table, which is absolutely insane, and takes out all of them with ease, with absolute ease, to where Indara's just the only one left, and and of course Indara then starts hand-to-hand combat with the masked attacker. They do a very specific slow motion pointing out hey, I'm grabbing for their lightsaber, and she misses. The attacker misses, and then the masked attacker starts using daggers and stuff. It's all kind of shocking at first that you really see this person holding her own against Indara, who is clearly a Jedi Master and well trained for many years. And even Indara has to ask who are you? Who trained you? And then there's a hostage situation, and Indara radios an unidentified Force user. The cantina clears out, There's a little bit more close combat. Indara bests the masked person and takes the mask off and sees who it is, and even says, "You." And then the now revealed person, who we don't know who it is, but we'll find out in a little bit here, force pushes Indara away, and takes out the daggers. And Indara cuts them all down with her lightsaber. It's a green lightsaber. I love green, so that's the only reason really why I'm calling it out. And like Indara's like, you don't want it to go down like this. Like, this is a fight you cannot win. And the unmasked attacker, the attacker I should really just say now, is like, I thought Jedi don't pull weapons unless ready to kill. Indara gives pause, and then we notice the barkeeper, like the barkeep. The masked, the unmasked attacker throws daggers down by the barkeep, and Indara stops it, protects him, and then the unmasked attacker sends a hidden dagger straight to the heart of Indara. We see it stay there. Blood kind of like starts to pool out, and Indara falls. The saber is left, which I found to be like really weird, because the attacker definitely went to go reach for it and went to go after it, to try and grab it at one point during the fight. So like that was very interesting. That then it's like, you can take it. Why don't you want to take it? But like just then leaves it there basically. The attacker then approaches the bar, grabbing her daggers, and the barkeep is kept alive because their barkeep has the kid there with them. Then we cut to the opening title sequence, and man, that was cool. This opening was awesome. I'm not one of the people that were so mad that Carrie-Anne Moss got killed so quickly. It made sense to me. I really liked it. It worked for me. I know that we'll probably see flashbacks and stuff too, or at least one of them or something. So we'll probably see more of her there. But I'm really excited. That was a great opening part of the episode. I loved it. I love seeing this mask attacker and everything like that. Like, it was so cool. So we wake up on a Trade Federation ship. A woman wakes up. This is Osha. This is Amanda. She looks very similar to the masked assassin. Like once the masked assassin was revealed, and is talking, and Osha is talking to her pip droid. An alarm starts to blare, and she's like, "Oh, it sounds like we got a job." Her little buddy Philic is like, "Why don't you come out and like hang out with us? Like, we all went out last night, and like, where were you?" And like, Osha's just like, "Oh, I stayed in or whatever." But starts asking about the job, and it's like, shield gen repair. Why are the trade feds here? They're asking about why the Trade Federation is there. We also get a quick definition of like what her role is. It's a metnek, and what they do is they do the outer ship like repair work. Usually always thought to be done by like an R2 style droid. But then we see Osha kind of like go out onto the spaceship and like starts spacewalking or whatever. They're welding some parts back together to fix the seal generator. A pressure valve blows. While staring into the fire, Osha has this like very audible kind of flashback of like some screams and some talking while looking into the flames and stuff. And then we get a Jedi ship that approaches. We now have what I dubbed the Padawan reunion. Yord is reunited with Osha. Yord is now a knight. 2 years ago, and they're kind of like, I never thought, I'd see you again. And Osha's like, what are you doing here? And Osha goes to reach for her like pip droid, and Yord very quick on the trigger, like holy cow, like very quickly just goes for his lightsaber and stuff, and then the questioning begins. Met next to dangerous job. How long? 6 years. Joined the order at 8 years old. It's a tough time. Also with Yord is Jackie, or no, not Jackie. I forget who this other one is talking, but they're going through a bunch of questions for her, and like, Osha's like, Yord knows this, that I joined at 8 years old. They were concerned about my age, and I was still mourning. And ultimately, Osha's just like, well, the council made their decision, and they decided to like let me go, or like let me in. And they continue on like, whole family dead. Training was difficult to say the least. And like, I was just like, what does this have to do with me? There was a Jedi murder in Udea. Attacker matches your description. Where were you last night? And she's like, I was here in this bunker, and then we start getting a little bit more like, Indara, she was one to suggest your training be stopped, like, right? And I was just like, whoa, it was my decision and nobody else's decision for me to leave the order. It was mine and mine alone, nobody else's. And then Osha to like Yord is like, do you really think I'm capable of killing a Jedi? And he's like, it doesn't matter what I think, because they bring in the barkeep ID, or the barkeep to ID Osha, and of course he does. That's it. That's her. That's the one who did it. So it doesn't matter what I think. We're taking you back to Coruscant. So now we go back to Coruscant. We have younglings training in class, which is excellent. I love seeing the younglings. We also get our introduction to a soul here, and he's teaching. And we also get like a little bit of the like, close your eyes, they can deceive you. Like have faith, like diving into the like ocean. Give yourself to the force, the stillness, the uncertainty. What comes to mind? We get like balance, good. Life, yes. Fire, grows larger, consumes everything. And like, so even in how it was really interesting, like when we got the fire thing here, like Sol didn't even like bat an eyelash. It wasn't like, oh, this is like Sith like tendencies or something coming up or whatever. Yeah, he just like rolled with it, and like ultimately leaving it with like power that must be respected. Now we get our first and probably our biggest and like only real connection to the High Republic series and stuff like previously, because we get Vernestra here, and in the like books, she's like a teen during those like first books, and like here she's like very clearly like a 40-year-old adult. So like time has like clearly gone by in like that sense or whatever for her. But that's really the only person that like you see throughout at least this like for these first two episodes that has like a real deep connection to anything prior of like the High Republic stuff that's come out. So Saul and Vern, they're talking, and she's like, they're lucky to be taught by you. And he's like, I'm lucky to be taught by them. She's like, I remember you being shy, when you were small, shy, just like them. She comes with news. Dara's killed. Saul's like, I heard. I'm sorry to hear of her like violent end. Osha's in custody. And like Saul is like, whoa, what? My old Padawan? Because like that's where we find out that Saul was, the Jedi Master to Osha, and now his Padawan being wanted for murder and being accused of murder is kind of a big thing. And during this conversation, like Vernestra's even like, "Whoa, I kind of underestimated your guys' like attachment to her, you know." And Soul's like, "Osha was a devoted Padawan. I don't see her to have any reason to kill. Like, everything from Brendock, like from her home, like she saw us as like protectors. This has to be like some sort of like mistake." And Vernestra's like, "Well, we can't let this get public. You know, political enemies will like use this against us." And she's like, "Do I have your justice and your support of this?" And he's like, "Of course, of like going to investigate and like figuring this out." So on the prison ship, Osha is looks over like the fellow prisoners. One has like a starro, like starfish parasite thing looking thing on his face. But as soon as I saw it, I was like, "Oh, Starro's in the is in the Star Wars universe now." So that was really fun. Kind of looked like a face hugger as well. It looked like all of it. It was great. But we get the other convicts are planning an escape. Osha is like, "I got faith in the Jedi," and the convicts are like, "Well, we're gonna leave you behind." Their droid convict takes over the droids flying the plane. So that is like just craziness that happens. They get out. They take an escape pod, leave Osha and the dude with the parasite on his face to just basically crash onto this planet. Osha tries to tap into the Force to grab Pip. There's a clear disconnect of her, like despite her like not being in the order and like practicing anymore or anything like that. Like there's a clear like cut off here. She can't even tap in at all, not even a little bit, to try and like help move that Pip droid a little bit. But through just moving around and bouncing around, the Pip droid then kind of slides to her. And so she is able to get out, and then she's able to get the parasite off the dude. And when that dude gets the parasite off, he just kind of freaks out, is screaming, yelling, and runs and goes to take the last and final escape pod, leaving Osha completely behind to just like crash on this planet all by herself. And it is she crashes onto the frosty planet of Karlak. And gosh, man, like that was insane. Like she's like freaking out. She was trying to do all of the good stuff for this dude, and it just like wasn't working for her. It just wasn't working. And that really sucked because she didn't need to try and save that guy, but she did. So she crashes onto Karlak. We cut back to Coruscant. We see Soul has a hollow up of Osha, and Jackie, his current Padawan, maybe a hint of jealousy, but also, to be fair, trying to use the training that like she's been taught and stuff, like to ask the question of like why do you have a hollow of why are you looking at a hollow of your old Padawan when we're not supposed to hold on to these things? And Vernestra is also like looking at him, looking for him and stuff. And Soul's like, well, Jackie's like, well, pastime and nostalgia can lead to, and she's cut off by Soul by being like, we must meditate on the past, or we are, and they finish it together, doomed to repeat it. So what we see is Soul is called down to Vernestra. We see the escaped prisoners are caught back in Jedi Command. They find out that it's on Karlak. It is the parasite prisoner. Like Soul kind of does like the mind control to like get like the truth serum kind of mind control thing, and more or less basically gets him to admit that he stole, that this prisoner with the parasite on him stole the last escape pod from OSHA, leaving her to basically fend for herself. And Soul asks to go and basically help OSHA like clear her name of Indara's murder. Soul asks to bring OSHA back. And like Vernestra's like, I don't know, man. Like, are we sure? I don't want to lose you to like a field thing just because you think something's around. And like, Soul's like, no, I can feel her. She, OSHA's alive still. Like, and he gives a good point. He's like, I trained her. If she is guilty, it is my fault. Like, let me take accountability. And Vernestra's like, all right, small team. And so we go to Karlak. OSHA wakes up in the ship. Ship is trashed. Like whole sides are gone. Like snow's coming in. And then this little girl appears. And it's like, OSHA, come play with me. She doesn't actually say come play with me, but it is something very creepy like that. And or that whole scene is like very creepy and like, twins out of The Shining kind of thing. But we go back to Coruscant, and of course, like Soul's like, Jackie, come on, let's go. And Yord is coming, and Yord is so Soul and Jackie go to Yord. Yord is shirtless, ironing his like Jedi robes and stuff, and like Jackie's just like, put on some clothes, Yord. That was such a thirst trap put there for people, and like awesome. I love it. I hope everyone who loves the chiseled body enjoyed that shot of Yord, because that dude was ripped. And it's absolutely insane. But then they basically go take off. So it's this little trio of Soul, Jackie, and Yord going off to Karlak. So they get there, or we get to Karlak. OSHA is following this little girl. There's this recognition that this little girl is May, who is OSHA's sister, who is thought to have been dead for the last 16 years. Mentions Brendak, which is the home world of OSHA and May. We hear like OSHA's name, and then we see these like fires ablaze, and then they're like running through this, like adult OSHA and little girl May are like running through the forest. And then we get this like really creepy chanting as well. That's, you're with me, I'm with you're with me, I'm with you, always born as two, or always one, born as two. And then they like enter a new room, like a new room kind of setting, and they continue the creepy like voiceover, and it's like, as above the stars, below the sea, I give you you. And OSHA responds, you give me me. And then we see a young OSHA and a young May like meeting face to face there. And May admits to killing Indara and says she will kill them all. And then OSHA wakes up to the Pip droid beeping. Or to Pip, Pip beeping. We get the Jedi ship, Soul and Jackie. Jackie's hilarious because Jackie is always asking for permission to speak freely, and Soul's like, you don't need to keep asking, like, for it. Just like ask your question, like. And she's like, how well do you know this former Padawan of yours? Like really, how well do you know? He's like, 16 years ago, I was posted on Brendak. Her sister May started a fire, killed the whole family. OSHA was the sole survivor. I took her as my Padawan, and like Yord's like, she had a sister, and Soul's like, a twin sister. Yord's like, I didn't know about a twin sister. It's not in her file. then they're like, it's not in her file. Do you think? No, May. That was her name. Is dead. Like, I saw her die. And then we get prepare to land. We get on Karlak. Osha hears like the approaching ship. You know, she's not going to be able to survive. And then we get the young May being like, follow me. So Osha's running. The Jedi are pursuing. We get this really awesome like cat and mouse chase thing here. Osha enters a cave. Sol and the Jedi do as well. Yord lights up his yellow lightsaber. Yord is extremely reliant on his saber. It is like insane how quick to draw his saber out that dude is. We're not even done with the first episode yet here. So Osha makes it out of the like cave and is on the edge. The Jedi reach her, and Sol comes forth, and Osha's like Osha's like, I didn't do it. And really, I was expecting Sol to respond with, I don't care. Like, the fugitive. Like, I didn't kill my wife. Tommy Lee Jones. I don't care. Really, really expecting, like, a little back and forth there, but I get why they don't do that. I understand. But let me tell you, it had real fugitive vibes and stuff here. Like, it was just feeding me off of it. And then we get, Sol is like, hey, let's step away from the edge. Let's talk. Let's talk about this calmly, collectly. Let's just talk. And Osha falls, but this time Sol grabs her and like she's like flat on her back, and it like goes from like this to like whoop, and gets her up like that. And Osha's like, to Sol, May is alive. And he's like, I believe you. Come with us. And Sol's like, stand down to like the rest of them. Now, at the end of this episode, we get a little bit of May and her master. May is walking the beach, approaching a stranger, because that's what the subtitles quoted him as, or called him, the stranger. A black cloaked figure who's giving this voiceover the entire time that that May is approaching her. He's like, the Jedi live in a dream they believe everyone shares. If you attack a Jedi with a weapon, you will fail. Steel or laser, no threat to them. An Acolyte kills without weapons. Acolyte kills the dream. And that's the end of episode 1. And my gosh, was that a cool episode. Holy cow. We've got a lot going on here. There's definitely a lot of questions that I've got going on here as well, too. Clearly May's alive, so what happened there? What's going on with Brendock? What is this issue that clearly Indara and Sol are probably a part of that happened on their home world of Brendock and whatnot? There's still a lot of questions to be had. So I'm really excited about this. I can't wait for more of it. And let me go ahead and dive into episode 2. So yeah, without further ado, let's go ahead and dive in.